I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Debra Simpson. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I am doing very well.
It's a
wonderful day.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to connect with you, Debra. Do tell us, what part of the world are you in right now?
I am in Carlsbad, California.
Sweet. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
My speaking and the speaking website that I have, Speakers Guild USA.
Yeah, tell us about what you do there, please.
Well, at Speakers Guild USA, I work with speakers who are pretty much getting started on their speaking career. I help them with more visibility. I share their profiles across my social media networks. I help them with the business of speaking and getting them out there so that they can get some opportunities for the beginning of their professional speaking career.
I'm sure there are individuals that are listening now that are like, what was that? What was that website again? Right? So again, speakersguildusa.com, right?
Correct.
And there we go. So who did you learn the skill of speaking from?
I come from a church background. Both of my parents were ministers. So I often heard my dad delivering a sermon on Sunday mornings. As I got older and having to be involved in the church, I was out there ministering myself. And then when I really decided I wanted to go for it, I joined a Toastmaster group, and I learned a lot of my speaking skills from Toastmasters.
Ooh. Now, there's something on your artwork. I always love graphics that are great, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something on your artwork on the left-hand corner, if you would. What does that, or what is it? It's like a medallion.
Sunburst?
Oh, it's a sunburst. Yeah, please explain the story behind the artwork.
I'll just give you the shortcut. I had friends who started the Speakers Guild in 2008. They decided they wanted to move on to it, but they didn't want it to just die. So they gave me everything. They just handed me the whole ball of works because of my speaking skill and because of my technical skills as well. So I inherited that graphic from them.
Okay. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I really do like the color combination as well.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. All right. Well, Debra, please do tell us one other thing that you've been doing consistently over the last 3 years.
Consistently over the last 3 years, I have been doing a lot of social media marketing for consultants. I am a WordPress developer, and although I do not build WordPress sites anymore, what I really do a lot of is I teach women who are usually 50 and older how to use these new technologies in order to build a following for their businesses on social media through blogging and podcasting as well.
Ooh. So where's the best place for people to connect with that? Do they go to Speakers Guild USA as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So how does it make you feel to know that you are this person that are helping others, especially women over 50?
I worked for several years for McGraw-Hill, and we started their first new media division. They closed our office here in Carlsbad, and I decided to go out into the business world. And what I discovered is that a lot of women had been taken advantage of, especially with websites where the developer would purchase their web address for them and therefore was able to hold that website hostage. And I really felt that women needed to be more empowered to feel comfortable with these new technologies. I've been an early adopter. I got my first computer in 85.
Wow. Yeah, that was one of the things I never liked. I remember the first HTML site I paid for, and it really got me thinking like, hey, do I need to contact you every time I need to make a change? And how much is that going to cost me?
Yes.
It was definitely beautiful getting the opportunity to switch to WordPress. And then WordPress, there's so many add-ons now that make it so easy, right? Compared to the time when you needed to use like Coda, right?
Yes. I tell people that when you ask me, do you think that this can be done on the website? I say, I'm sure there's a plugin for that.
If only there were plugins for life.
That's true. Sometimes we have to go about it the hard way, don't we?
Most definitely, most definitely. So you've been doing this and now you're helping others do this as well. You expressed how it makes you feel to be helping others. Why would you suggest to someone that they do make that first step to interact with what is now technology?
It's just the way things are going. I mean, who knew years ago that we would be doing so much on our cell phones? So I think it's just getting comfortable with it. I think a lot of people put a mental roadblock up there saying, oh, I'm not good in technology. I think because I have a lot of patience, I think it's easier to help them understand step by step and let them be more comfortable with technology because it's not going away.
Now, Deborah, it wouldn't be right if I didn't say that you were a podcaster. Of course, well, once a podcaster, always a podcaster, right? But you
Yes.
had a podcast called North San Diego Business at Large, right? Pretty amazing stuff there. Like, I got to listen to it. And I mean, this was back in '06, right? Which means you were like one of the new podcasters, especially a woman podcaster, I'm guessing.
That's true. A lot of people were not podcasting in 2006. What I did was I had a handheld digital recorder. And when I went to my chamber meetings and other business meetings, I would interview other business owners. And then I had to go through the whole technology of downloading the audio, editing the audio, putting it into buttons so it could play. Now I have a second podcast. I don't do North San Diego business any longer, but I do have Speaking with Influence. And I've found that it's a lot easier to use Blog Talk Radio for that. So that's how I podcast on Blog Talk Radio.
Love it. Well, Deborah, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Deborah, what is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory, I was born in Alaska. So my earliest childhood memory is our dog chewing up the telephone cord.
How old do you think you were?
I would have been 3 or 4.
Why do you think this memory is so clear? And how do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
Because the dog made a mistake and I fixed it.
Oh, really? You fixed it? How did you fix it?
I probably taped it back together. But, being in Alaska when it's such a different climate and a different weather, it's easy to remember some of those old things because we had so much snow in the winters, and it was an interesting place to live.
That's intriguing. So you fixed it at that tender age. Wow. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
Of course.
I love the idea that you are the to-do person and that you get it done. But it's fascinating the place it starts from, where it's like a still space. It's like you're reflecting what's going on, and then you say, okay, so this is what I need to get this fixed. And then you go out and do that. But to see that as a child and to see you doing that now and helping others understand that they can do it as well is pretty fascinating to me.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
When I was 12 years old, that probably would have been one of the Beatles songs. And or maybe I'll bet you the one that comes to mind right away is Petula Clark, Downtown.
There we go. There we go. Big tune, right?
Yes, it was a long time ago.
Well, Deborah, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form, so it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Deborah?
I'm ready.
Deborah, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
I have chosen someone, my daughter.
Are you married?
I am.
Do you have children? Well, other children than your daughter.
Just the daughter.
Okay. Do you believe in God?
I believe in a higher presence.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, I do.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I do.
How about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 hours a day or less than 8 hours a day?
The computer would be more than 8 hours a day. I am not a big cell phone user as far as screen time.
All right. If you, Debra, had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Debra Simpson, what would you say that is?
I'm always trying to be of service.
Love it. Just like the service provider fixing the phone line after the dog chewed it.
Yes.
There's Debra, right?
That is.
Debra, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I love speakers. I love working with speakers. And I'll be honest with you, I really love millennials. I think that they are going to change our world for us. So I have great faith and hope in them.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Debra Simpson, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
It is my pleasure.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.